What's up, guys? Today, talking about why this fight right here, Van versus Taira, is a win-win for the UFC. So both these guys super young. Joshua Van 24, Taira 26, both very exciting fighters. Joshua Van obviously boxing heavy, wants to keep it standing up, very good takedown defense. And then Taira is the opposite, brawler, scrambler, wants to, grapple, get on your back, find that body triangle, get that submission. So both very exciting guys, both super exciting fights. Joshua Van against Brandon Royval, obviously one of the best fights of 2025. And then Tyra, his fight with Brandon Royval, one of the best flyweight fights in my opinion as well. Both super interesting guys, completely different styles, but both looking for the finish in different ways. Both very good striking, very good grappling. Very exciting guys. So honestly, whoever wins this fight, it's a win-win for the UFC. There's a lot of good matchups to be made after this. Obviously, the winner of this, if Pantoja is healthy again, will get a fight against him. Not sure the timeline on him, obviously. But then you also have Horiguchi versus Manel Kape coming up as well. The winner of that's also in line for a title shot. And we'll see how well Josh Van does against Taira in the grappling, if he does good against Horiguchi. And if Manel Kape wins that against Joshua Van, another very good fight. Can he withstand that power, outbox him, even find a KO? And then Taira as well. The grappling matches with Horiguchi and scrambles would be super interesting. And then can he also get Manel Kape down and avoid that power? So both very good matchups. And with Pantoja as well, obviously we all wanted to see how well Joshua Van would have done in that first fight. And if he could have kept, him off his back and without getting submitted. Same thing in this fight. And then Taira, if he fought Pantoja, those grappling and scrambling exchanges would be super fun to watch, obviously. Both elite grapplers. So, such good matchups upcoming in the flyweight division. And it's really a win-win, whoever wins this fight. I like both of these guys, both very young. Joshua Van, 24, Taira, 26. So whoever wins this fight, we'll probably see a rematch of this in the future. I mean, both very young guys, super high potential, and they have a long future in the flyweight division and the UFC. So whoever wins this, we got a lot of good matchups in the future and now. So I'm really excited for this fight. And now who I think is going to win, it's it's a very close fight. Obviously, Taira, insane grappling, super good submission skills. But then Joshua Van, you look, he has 81% takedown defense. Some of the best takedown defense in the entire flyweight division. We've seen him fight, obviously not the level of grapplers Taira is, but some very good grapplers. We saw him outbox basically everyone. That Brandon Royval fight, super patient. His counters were amazing. He kept on the pressure. And then Taira as well. We've seen him just TKO'd Brandon Moreno with ground and pound. Super good. I mean, once he gets on your back, he's riding out around. So while looking at this matchup, I'm leaning Joshua Van just because we saw in that Brandon Royval fight. Once Taira got tired, and he was being walked down, there's not, he's just not the same. And you look in that fight, Brandon Royval almost finished him. It was extremely close. And we know Brandon Royval has, not the amount of power as most guys. He's more, cardio and keeps on you and wins that decision. Where Joshua Van, he has that knockout power and he can knock you out. And if the same thing happened and Joshua Van was in his shoes, he would have finished Taira. Now, I don't know if he would get a TKO or a KO in this fight. I think Joshua Van will win by decision. I think he definitely will get taken down. But we've seen before his reversals and scrambling is very good. So if he can do that without getting submitted, which he's been working on, his submission, defense, and all of that. He had a whole training camp against Pantoja and then another one now against Taira, working really in those same skills. And, I think he's really going to be ready to defend against these takedowns, which I'm sure there will be a round or two when Taira gets the back and has control for most of that round. He may lose that round. I think it's going to be an extremely close fight. and both very well rounded, very good guys. I mean, Tyra has very good striking as well, very nice right, straight right, and it should be an extremely fun matchup. I think Joshua Van will be able to put him on the back foot though, and that's where he's going to rack up the most damage and be able to win the fight by decision. I mean, there is a world where he's able to, defend the takedowns, get Tyra tired, and then be putting that boxing on him. And if Tyra goes down, like we saw in that Brandon Royval fight, Van will finish that fight. So I'm super excited for this fight, even more than the main event. I think it's just a great matchup. The flyweight division is in for a very good future. And I think whoever wins this fight is going to be very well off. And we'll probably see a rematch in the future. I'm almost certain about that. So I'm leaning Joshua Van by decision now. Could see a TKO, but in my opinion, both guys are extremely well rounded. Tyra's gotten a lot better since that Brandon Royval loss. Joshua Van's obviously gotten better as well. So it should be a great win. But overall, I think it's, a win-win for whoever wins this, the UFC, for us as the fans, for everybody. So I'm super excited for this fight. And we're going to just talk about the main event for a little bit. Obviously, we're all very excited for this fight. Khamzat Chimaev, Sean Strickland, who isn't? I'm not going to get too much into it because I think Khamzat Chimaev is going to win this, unfortunately. I would love to see Sean Strickland be able to win this fight. So I think that would be, super entertaining, super fun to watch him as champion again. But I think, there's just no ways for him to win. Doesn't really have that KO power. Obviously, he got the KO of Fluffy Hernandez in his last fight. But, other than that, he's been known to have pillow hands and not to have that KO power. So I just don't think that he will have, a way to win against Khamzat Chimaev. I think even if this goes 5 rounds, Khamzat Chimaev will be able to rack up most of the control time to win more rounds. And I think he's either going to win by decision or, inside the distance in the later rounds. Because, obviously Sean Strickland, very good cardio, but he gets tired as well, especially having somebody, on his back going for those takedowns like that. So overall, I think Khamzat Chimaev will win. I just don't see a path for Sean Strickland. It's not that obviously Khamzat Chimaev is one of the best in the world. We know that. No debates about that. It's not that I think, Sean Strickland's bad at submission defense. Khamzat's going to submit him, or Sean Strickland has no chin. He's going to chin him, anything like that. We know what Khamzat can do. We just there's nothing for Sean Strickland to do to win, in my opinion. It would be so much fun to see that, obviously. Hey guys, here, just hearing him as champion again would be very fun, but I just don't think there is an avenue for him to win. It's not that there's more of a way for him to lose, there's just not a way for him to win, in my opinion. So, looking at the rest of the card, this is a banger card. A lot of good fights from the beginning to the end. Obviously, Sir, whatever, I don't even know, Hamzat's teammate. Is he going to get fraud checked sometime? Probably. Probably not this fight. This is very good. I mean, all good fights going from, top to bottom. All extremely good fights. So I'm super excited for this card tomorrow. You know, in my opinion, whoever wins this fight, though, we're going to have a win-win as the UFC and as fans. I'm super excited for this fight, even more. Flyweight division, it's had its up and downs, obviously. Moreno and Figgy, they've had their how many fights that era. But I think the new era of flyweight is in for a very good time. And honestly, it's one of the best divisions in shape. A bunch of up and coming guys. We got, Unks coming back, Horiguchi, who's, looking to be one of the best still. So overall, this is fight, Joshua Van versus Taira, is a win-win for the UFC, and I'm super excited. Let me know who you guys think's going to win in the comments, and we'll see you after the event. It's going to be a great night of fights, and I'm looking forward to it.